Hi, I'm Dana Schwartz, and this is Rise or Die, the official companion podcast for Peacock's original series, Those About to Die. On this podcast, I go behind the scenes with the show's cast and creators to learn how they brought their brutal vision of Rome to life. I talked to acclaimed director and executive producer Roland Emmerich.
When I saw the first race, I was like giddy.
Actor Ewan Ryan.
For an actor, that's a dream, although you do get a lot of sand in your sandals.
And so many more.
You helped summon those ghosts back onto that stage.
Every day when I went to set, I was giggling about what I saw.
I think it's going to be a breathtaking thing.
Gosh, people will freak out.
Rise or Die launches on July 18th. Watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
Hello, it's December 19th, which means if you love December, enjoy it. There's only a few days left. And if you don't like December, congratulations, there's only a few days left. Hey guys, Kristin here. In your intro for Buffering the Vampire Slayer, I have a really big announcement at the end of this news cycle here before we get into the episode, so hold your breath. Just kidding, don't hold your breath, because I got a lot to say and no one will survive. Okay, let me start by saying happy holidays to everyone. We are rolling into our holiday schedule over here, so this is our last episode of the year. We will see you in 2019 on January 9th when we come back with our taping of this year's Girl that we did live in London. So, that's something to look forward to in 2019. There's at least one thing. Get excited. Angel on Top is also coming back the week after us to continue the never-ending sandwich of vampire/slayer deliciousness. Angel on Top has an episode out today, so you get 2 episodes today because it's the holidays and we feel festive. Speaking of January, we hope you have your tickets for PodCon Seattle, and also if you want your remote tickets from anywhere in the world, you can grab those as well at podcon.com. We will see you in Seattle, January 19th and 20th. Okay, let's get into this news. I have so many things. First of all, transcriptions. We are getting really close to transcribing season 3, and we need a lot of help with transcribing season 4 to make our podcast accessible. So please help us transcribe going over to bufferingthevampireslayer.com/transcribe. When you want to stop talking to your Uncle Dave, I don't know what's wrong with Uncle Dave, but he's probably going to get on your nerves. So you just say, Uncle Dave, I gotta go transcribe an episode of Buffering the Vampire Slayer. I'll be right back, man. You can go on over there, find out more details on how you can help us out. You can honestly transcribe even a quarter of an episode over there and then leave it to somebody else to finish if that's all the time you have. Another thing I want to talk to you about is our interview with Lindsay Krause, who plays Professor Maggie Walsh. I did get the opportunity to sit down with Lindsay, and I had such an awesome chat with her. And originally I was going to put it in this episode, but Lindsay and I talked about a couple of things that are a little spoilery, so I'm going to hold tight. You're going to have to wait a few episodes to hear that interview. But patrons, if you're a patron of ours, you will get that interview in just a couple of weeks ahead of time. Cool? Cool. I think it's time for Spooky News. Okay, so spooky news. Listen, 875,000 people wrote to me about this particular news story, which is not even my choice for spooky news, but it seems like it's really important that everyone knows this. A 45-year-old woman who married the ghost of an 18th century pirate has announced that she has split from him after less than a year of marriage. Amanda Teague traveled to international waters back in January 2018 to marry her pirate partner Jack through the means of a medium after telling the spirit that she was no longer happy to just have casual sex. We are sorry that it didn't work out for you, Jack and Amanda. Onwards and upwards to the story that I've actually chosen for Spooky News this holiday week, which is the story of Mary Lwyd, or it's not a story, it's a tradition. Mary Lwyd is a tradition that was first recorded in 1800, and it entails the use of a hobby horse. So like, like a hobby, when you think of a hobby horse, probably you think of like a little kid who has like a little stuffed horse head on a little pole and he's all cute. He's like, look at my hobby horse. No. Mary Lwyd uses a skull of a horse that's mounted on a pole. It has like ribbons and stuff hanging off of it. And in its little eyeballs, it's got some like glass pieces. And off the back of its head is a sackcloth. So it's kind of like a ghost, like a sheet, like a ghost. But in place of a ghost head, it has a skull of a horse. And then they take this around. This is a custom that was found in South Wales and has happened in neighboring regions in the world in other forms. But they take the horse skull on a stick with a ghost body and they knock on doors of people and they wassail. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I learned that wassailing is kind of like caroling, where you go door to door and you like sing, except for instead of just singing, you're like, bitch, give me some fucking cider. Like people have cider on the inside of the house, and then if you sing good enough, you get some cider. So this is like that, except instead of you just going to sing, you go with a horse skull on a stick with a ghost body, and you're like, Merry Christmas. Oh, because this happened at Christmas time. When it first started, it was a Christmas time tradition. It still is a Christmas time tradition. It declined in the 20th century, but then in the later 20th century, it came back because like, who can spend too much time away from a horse skull around the holidays? Am I right? I'm poking fun, but I actually think it's really fun to learn about the traditions that human beings think up and like, where did this come from? I want to know more. I want to learn more. So anyway, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I just want to let you know that like Christmas time is full of various traditions, some of which you knew, and perhaps you did not know that one of them was horse skulls on sticks with ghost bodies going to doorways, singing for cider. There you have your spooky news. Okay, coming out of spooky news, I'm going to start doing something in the top here, and that is telling you the Sexual Tension Award winners for the episode prior. So in the episode itself, you'll get our nominees for this episode, but for now, I'm going to give you the winners for the I and team. Coming in at the low 7%, we have Forrest and Riley. Now, the other three remaining pairings were pretty close. 23% of the vote went to Spike and Giles. Spiles. Jike. Rough coupling name there. Willow and Spanking almost won. They had 31% of the vote. I am sorry, but it is good that we don't have to mail a trophy to Spanking because I don't know how that would work. Anyhow, with 39% of the vote, Willow and Tara took it home. We may be seeing more of them in the winners section of Sexual Tension Awards this season. We'll see. Hey, 'tis the season, and you know it. We have palm hats now that say Jenny's now infamous catchphrase, wow, 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 wow. We have kid-sized Smash the Demon Patriarchy tees. Our mugs are back in stock that say Smash the Demon Lizard Patriarchy. We have sweatshirts and pins and stickers. Oh my, so many things that you can find at bufferingthevampireslayer.com. Just click on shop. So if you get any loot for the holidays and you want to get some new stuff for your body, come on over and do it with us. Thank you to those of you who sold out our handwritten lyric sheets. We raised $500 for Trans Lifeline. We're really excited to be able to give that money to them. And it's really special to also donate money to them over the holidays. It's a very particular time for so many of us, and especially people who are in the trans community going home or not going home for the holidays. As always, we send so much love and support to any of you out there who are struggling with coming out to family or have just come out to family or have not yet come out to family and who have to be around those family members at this time of year. Know that you are not alone. So many people are listening to this right now and feeling solidarity with you. Even the person speaking this, me, Kristin, Nolene Russo, is feeling solidarity with you. So sending so much love to all of you. As always, a huge thank you to Lauren Klein, our dutiful sound engineer. You can follow Lauren if you'd like over at Lauren Taylor Klein on Instagram. She does such good work for us. She helps us sound good in your ears. And hey, we've done it. You listened to all the news except for the biggest piece of news, which is that it is official, Scooberinos. That's right. I said freaking Scooberinos. We are throwing another prom this March 9th. And this year, our prom is in the Big Apple. The cat's meow. That's not another word for this city, but it's cool. We're throwing our prom in New York City, baby. This is your notice to save the date, New Yorkers, for March 9th, and to let you know that we have expanded capacity from last year's prom, but not by a ton, because we want to keep the prom special and intimate and promy. We want to have it be as special and wonderful as it was last year. And we're once again at the Ace Hotel, this time in New York City. Did we mention that prom is in New York City? If you want your tickets, they are not for sale yet. This is your warning to know. March 9th, New York City. If you're flying here, cool, but wait until you get your tickets. Tickets will be released on January 9th when the next episode is released. So stay tuned over at bufferingthevampireslayer.com/prom. You can find all of the details, our new design done by Diana Kresge again, who did our last year prom design. And you might be pretty excited about the design this year because it includes some Polaroids taken in quotes because they were drawn of us at prom last year. It's a really, really special design. We are so freaking excited to have prom in New York City this year. So stay tuned over there. Also on socials, and know that January 9th is when those tickets will be released. Okay, I think we've done it. Happy holidays to all of you. Happy New Year to all of you. We will see you on the other side of this episode in 2019. Let's freaking do this thing.
Hello, and welcome to Buffering the Vampire Slayer, a podcast where we are watching and discussing every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer one at a time, spoiler-free. I am Jenny Owen Youngs.
And I am Kristin Russo. And this week, we're talking about Buffy Season 4, Episode 14, Goodbye, Iowa. Stay tuned at the end of this podcast every week for an original song written by Jenny Owen Youngs, recapping the Buffy episode we are discussing. And if you haven't yet started listening to our Angel podcast, Angel on Top, hosted by Brittany Ashley and Laura Zach, you should be. And today's a really special day because you have one episode from us and one episode from them all at the same time. Blam.
Happy holidays! Goodbye, Iowa was written by Marty Noxon, directed by David Solomon, and originally aired on February 15th, 2000, just one day after Valentine's Day.
This is... God, what were you doing on Valentine's Day in the year 2000?
I literally don't even want to think about it.
I was...
And you?
Well, I guess I was February of 2000. So I started dating my first girlfriend, Randy, in 1998, and we were together for 2 years. So I believe we may have been celebrating what would, unbeknownst to us, be our last Valentine's Day together as Valentine's. This is
I'm sure it was very romantic. I'm sure many a hemp necklace was hand woven and gifted.
Yes, 100%. This is the one where tension erupts between Buffy and an ailing Riley as they pursue Professor Maggie Walsh's killer.
By ailing, do they mean increasingly sweaty?
They mean so sweaty. Like, do you think that Mark Blucas saw David Boreanaz's performance in like the, what is it, Becoming, when he's all sick? Or which season finale is it when he's like super fucking sweaty and he's trying to make out with Oz?
Oh, that's at the end of season 3 after Faith has shot him.
Right. Yes.
Arrow.
So I feel like Mark Blucas was like studying up on previous sick, ailing Buffy boyfriends and was like, yo, I can outsweat this dude. I've got this.
I can outsweat this dude. Important advances being made. You know, competition is healthy and yields achievement.
Yes, yes. Also, though, I don't think that Mark Blucas outsweat David Boreanaz. I think that David Boreanaz / Angel still holds the title for...
Well, why can't they just get into a room together and both sweat, is my question.
Jenny.
Anyway, so here we are in this fucking episode.
Oh my God. It's like these 2 episodes, really. Like Goodbye Iowa and the Iron Team, just like back to back fucking Adam times infinity. I literally can't. It's really... Yeah.
I'm a monster. I
believe he actually says, "What am I?"
No, I know.
And Jenny, don't worry, because in case you didn't get enough of that clip of Adam saying, "Mommy," we get it again.
Oh my God. Yeah, the previously on of this episode is definitely like, here's all the things that you don't care about and that you wish weren't happening this season.
I mean,
I'm like, where have Willow and Tara done any spells?
Oh my God, they have. Jenny, I don't know if you saw the thread that I started for us on Twitter, but I'm really excited about it. It is a dating guide for queer women, narrated by, of course, our favorite 2 witches, Tara and Willow. And so
I did see that.
I plan to add a GIF to it every episode that something witchy happens between these 2 that is obviously coded language for doing it.
Was there anything in this episode? Was there any doing it in this episode, do you think?
Jenny, seriously? We'll get there.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
There was definitely witchy doing it in this episode. Do you mean, did they actually do it, or were they referencing doing it?
No. I'm just talking about, was there any magic that was interpretable?
Well, so, right, that's what I mean. Like, there wasn't any magic that happened that was doing it, but there was a lot of talking about magic as a coded way.
Yes, and I can't wait to get there. Oh God, you reminded me.
But first let's start with, has Spike already been calling Buffy Goldilocks a bunch? I feel like I don't remember if I just haven't noticed it as much as I did in this opening scene, or if
I don't know, but people who live in glass Blondie Bear houses shouldn't throw Goldilocks stones.
Well, but Blondie Bear is simply a commentary on hair, as a certain thread of patriarchal beliefs would have it, Jenny. When someone says Goldilocks, they are not only referring to the golden locks upon one's head, but also they're demeaning them for being a lady. So why don't we get in that nice patriarchy jingle here for Goldilocks? The patriarchy!
Wait, Kristin, whoa, hang on. I'll listen to the patriarchy jingle all day, but do you really feel like Goldilocks is synonymous with negative stuff? Because if you recall, I feel like doesn't Goldilocks
isn't Goldilocks an asshole?
The bears? doesn't Goldilocks win? And am I crazy? What happens in Goldilocks?
What do you mean?
There's 3 bears. Doesn't she defeat the bears?
Win?
Doesn't she? Okay, so let me just see if I can sort this out for us, because we all know how good I am at retaining the nuances of story arcs. So Goldilocks goes into a house. She's really talking. She's been hiking all day. Oh, LA, it's so tiring. You're always hiking somewhere. Oh God, I really could go for some kombucha, but I'm nowhere near a store. Let me just pop into this deserted house and see if they have any booch in the fridge. So she goes into the house, and then she's like, gee whiz, I'm so sleepy. No, she's not sleepy first. First, she's hungry, maybe. And there's like porridge, and some of it's hot, and some of it's cold, and some of it's just right. So this shows me that Goldilocks knows what she wants out of life.
Uh-huh.
Then something else happens that I can't remember. She does something other than eat, and encounters a similar to something, just right.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what a great episode of our podcast.
Yeah, it's going great so far.
And then she's like, I'm so tired. She gets into a bed, and she's like, this bed is too hard. And then she gets into another bed, and she's like, this bed is too soft. She's just striving. She knows that she deserves what she wants out of life. Then she gets into the third bed and it is just right. And she falls asleep. And then some bears come home and they're like, did you see that there's kombucha in the fridge?
What are you even talking about? I don't remember what happens after she falls asleep in the baby bear's bed. I don't remember what
I think it's actually the mama bears, I believe.
What? No,
Isn't she all about the mama bear's business?
No, she's all about such a queer reading of Goldilocks, Jenny.
Okay.
You're like, doesn't she love the mama bear, though? No, Goldilocks, okay, I love your interpretation, but in my mind, Goldilocks broke into some fucking house that is owned by a lovely family of bears that just want to have peace, and she eats their food and judges it, and then sleeps in their beds and judges them. And for some reason, the baby bear, it's like I don't remember whose is too hot and who is too cold, but I think that the parental units are too hot, too cold, and the baby bears is what was just right.
I see.
However, I don't think the story of Goldilocks is rooted in a patriarchal trope, to get back to your question.
But I feel like your reading is definitely filtering through the patriarchy. As we often know, we're all victims. We all live inside the patriarchy. Yes. She was judging their food, judging it.
No, Jenny. She was just speaking what she wanted. Your Goldilocks pants down over there. The only thing I was trying to say before this episode turned into a 5-hour special on Goldilocks was that I think that Spike's using of the phrase Goldilocks has a tone to it that is patriarchal. He's not just commenting on her hair. He's like, because the next thing he says is like talking about her bad taste in men and how she should get a better boyfriend because her boyfriends are always fucking her over. So it's super like, talking to her in a very like, there's a couple of references in this episode to her being like, I'm going to play the dumb blonde. Like she says something like that later, which I wrote down and we'll get to. But I just was trying to say that I think that Spike is being a bit demeaning in a way that I read as dude to lady demeaning with his choice of phrase here, which does not happen with Blondie Bear. Blondie Bear is like, that's
a fun pet name. But I don't feel like Spike needs to rely on some kind of demeaning a woman trope in order to insult Buffy, because he's constantly hurling insults at everyone in the Scooby Gang.
Yes, I agree, but I still think this is a patriarchal moment. But we can
agree to disagree.
Yes.
Two titans converge on the battlefield to discuss whether or not Spike's use of the word Goldilocks to Buffy is specifically demeaning from a anti-woman angle.
Yes, talk amongst yourselves. Please send us all of your feelings on which Titan you side with.
Do let us know. So we're at around like 12 minutes of talking, and we've covered the first sentence
line
of the episode. So this is good.
Oh, but that's okay because, Jenny, there's not a ton in this episode, so I think a few tangents from us won't hurt anybody. This opening scene, apart from the moment that we just talked about, is really all here for them to establish that Buffy is like, yo, Maggie tried to fucking kill me, and for the Scoobies and Giles especially to be like, but why? Like, why would she want to kill you? There's like way more to think about now, because before Giles just thought she was a fishwife, and now he's like, wait, this lady is hiding something, is their theory, which of course is correct.
I do kind of wish we saw a little more like, from Giles about this.
Right? I wrote the same note. I actually said props to Giles for not gloating, but I felt the same way. I was like, dude, you hated this lady. You're not going to even give one dig in here?
No, he's just holding it all in. He's just like too excited to be main dad on campus again.
So we sort of turn the corner of the scene with them being like, but what would she want to hide? And then it like cuts to like a barn, which who knew Sunnydale had barns, but apparently they've got one, which Adam, staggers out of. I mean, the monster can barely walk. He's the most horribly assembled monster I have ever laid my eyes upon.
If we're to believe, well, you've seen the pit, you've seen how technologically advanced the initiative is. They have so much tinfoil. How could it be that they assembled this guy and he like kind of is a little janky?
Right.
I mean, like he could fall apart at any moment.
His like abdomen middle section looks like they were like, I think there's like some like leather strips down the hall. You just give me like a big
let's
needle and
get some big staples.
It's just really a mess. I just like Maggie is supposed to be this genius, and I think she could work on her like surgery skills. Just my opinion. So we roll right into the credits, don't we, Jenny?
We certainly do.
The credits are as they always were, though I will say I noticed that Faith and Buffy were dancing right after all of the Mark Blucas clips, which I enjoyed. I felt like I got a lot of your favorite butterscotch hunk, and then I got an immediate reprieve from heterosexuality into queer dancing.
Well, something for everyone, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, personally, I do think a butterscotch hunk is for everyone, but I won't put that on anyone.
Everyone might not agree with you.
Yes, agree. So we're back at Giles, and this is when the plan to hide out at Xander's comes into play.
Yeah, not a popular plan.
Two most offended people by this plan are certainly Anya and Giles.
Yeah, hard to spank or be spanked when
wow.
You're having a slumber party.
Like, and also, I know that you were talking about like Anya and Xander, but because I had said like the two most upset people were Anya and Giles, and you immediately said hard to spank or be spanked, I got like,
good God,
really turned around in my fan fiction. So I've righted myself. I've righted myself. Where were you gonna go?
Well, she is 1,000 years old, so she might be too old for.
That's
for
true.
Giles.
That's true.
But somehow not too old for Xander. My main concern, so Giles is like, I'm above this, but like, what is Mrs. Harris thinking about, hey mom, I'm gonna have a sleepover, my girlfriend and these two other girls, and then also our high school librarian who is currently between projects.
Well, I mean, it might have been proposed like, hey, my friend and this person, and also your side boyfriend, Mr. Giles.
Well, then why is he sleeping on the beanbag chair or whatever?
It's true. I think Xander's mom has no idea, for the most part, what goes on in that basement. For whatever reason, whether it's because she's busy working a million jobs or because it's that she doesn't care, or a combination therein. I don't think that she is super, super concerned with what the hell Xander is doing down below.
Right.
Shout out to the fact that the bat with the hook is still a weapon being used.
Hooray! Do you remember when that first came into the universe?
I don't remember, though. I mean, I feel like it was fairly recently. Like, I want to say season 3. It doesn't feel like something that was like with us for a long time, but I just really remember being like, wow, that's a hook taped to a bat.
Yeah, definitely an instant classic whenever it came into play.
Yeah. And, Jenny, we've seen a lot of cosplay, but I have not seen too much cosplay with the bat hook. So a call
probably hard to get a bat with hooks coming out of it. Through security at various conventions.
So another major thing that happens in this scene, of course, is that Giles is like, probably no one even knows that I live here, moments before Riley walks in the door. Ba-dum-dum.
Yeah, dude.
Right. And Riley, so are you excited, Jenny, to go through the many progressions of Sweaty Riley in this episode?
Well, yes, I am, of course. He's just getting started. He's just begun to sweat.
Yeah, he hasn't really even. Like maybe he's sweating, but we just can't see it yet in this scene. And then it advances later on. But yeah, basically Riley walks in and Buffy's like, yo, fucking Maggie tried to kill me. And he's like, there has to have been a mistake. This can't be reality, because like I trusted this person and also took orders from this person, and this is something that will unfold more and more for him as the episode goes forward. But he
also is like, oh hey, it's Hostel 17, just hanging out. We've been looking for him.
I'm upset that when we were hanging out with James Marsters in London, we didn't get to hear him say, I'm just a friend of Xander's, because
yes,
I think it's
that
one of my
seems like a tragedy in retrospect.
Right, Spike is like, you know what? Like he tries to pretend for like half a second, and then he's just like, fuck it, I give up. I'm your fucking guy. And they're like, but he's not bad. Like one of the classic tropes of season 4 is Spike continuously trying to remind everyone that he is a fucking vampire.
He's bad. He's so bad.
And he's
such a
really bad.
boy.
But the more he tells us that he's bad, of course, the less threatening he becomes.
True. What else is happening? We're seeing in this scene that Riley is growing like increasingly tweaky. He's like starting to exhibit behaviors that we don't typically associate with Riley.
Right. He's edgy, or not edgy, on edge is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
He's on edge, and he, you know, like his disbelief of what Professor Walsh has done is like understandable. Xander's really being super protective and defensive of Buffy, which is like a Xander trademark.
Totally.
But it's sort of like well placed in this scene. You know, it's not as like Xander as it has been in previous scenes, because he basically, I mean, I think he says literally, your boss just tried to make monster food out of her, so like maybe you should fucking chill for a second, dude. And he's fucking right. And like, you know, I see all the sides of it, but I'm here for the defensiveness and the protectiveness of Xander in this moment. It's a little like puffing the chest. You know, like all of the dudes are puffing chests here, but I think that it's pretty solid. And I give Xander a thumbs up for defending Buffy, but then Riley, of course, leaves really upset.
Yes, and we all hate to see Riley upset.
Well, you know, you bring up, I think, a good point, Jenny, in that, like, you know, up until now in the series, I've mostly been playing my jingle, which is, you know, insisting that Riley please go away, and having very little sympathy, you know, for him and his stuff. And I stand by my feelings, but I will say that this journey, like this arc of Riley's, is something that does move me and that I feel like sympathy for him with, that he has been essentially, and this episode really unpacks this, like programmed, right? And they take it another step. It's not just that he like has been trained to follow the rules, but he's also, we find out, has been drugged to make him even more compliant and more able to follow the rules and follow these missions. So you know, I do have space for sure in my heart and mind for the fact that this guy, his entire universe has been turned upside down. All of the things he thought were true weren't true, or at least are in question right now. He's really lost, and he's going through withdrawal. So like, this is one of my like, I think, I don't know past this, but I think this is one of my top Riley episodes in terms of like really being able to sympathize with him and feel for him.
Yeah, he's having a hard time. Like, Evernote is being called into question. He's also like put in this position where he's being physically affected on a biological level,
right,
by withdrawal from what the initiative was feeding him. And he's also lost what we understand to be his mother figure and also his like leadership figure. And she's in direct conflict, or like the organization that she was attached to is now in direct conflict with the woman he loves.
You know what's funny, apart from that last bit about the woman he loves, is almost everything you said could also describe what Maggie's other child, Adam, is going through. All right?
Oh my God.
I will say that I have no sympathy for Adam. I don't like him, and I don't care for him in the least. But, you know, that's the parallel here, right? That like essentially Professor Walsh had affection toward Riley as a son, and also had affection toward Adam, and really like sort of created Adam and was a mother figure to Adam in that sense. And Adam spends this episode trying to figure out what he is, which gets us to the next scene where he literally says, "What am I?"
Oh, his voice.
To this little boy. I know. And like, I just can't handle him. And we already talked about this, but my note in this scene was, has anyone ever assembled a monster so poorly? Because,
right?
like, come on.
But it seems like they gave up halfway through. or something.
like Maggie did, or like the Department of Props and Makeup?
Maybe both. It just like he just seems stitched together so shoddily.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's what I had been saying. Like it looks literally like he's a poorly assembled football with a metal plate.
A poorly assembled football.
But essentially, this scene is just like us seeing Adam talk to this little boy, and we see him get the light bulb idea. Oh, I can just take you apart to find out how you work, and that will maybe help me understand how I work. Whatever, Adam. Murder this child. Do what you need to do. I hope that you're not in this season too much.
I think you're just like, do what you have to do.
I'm like, do what you got to do, man. Can we get the next big bad, please? Can we move on with our lives? I don't know. I mean, I'm saying normally we don't trash on big bads too hard because I know everybody has different opinions, but I feel like generally speaking, the opinion collectively of Adam as a big bad is like, meh.
I think he's probably fan ranked as the least fave big bad.
Yeah. So, and if you disagree with us and you like have a thing for Adam, like let us know. I would love to hear an opposing view more than anything. So, Jenny, now we get to the scene where Dr. Doom, whose name I can literally never remember.
Dr. Engelman.
Dr. Anglerfish is like, let me come into the room and look for Professor Walsh. And I mean, my first question in this scene is, why did the lights not work? Because I don't think that was something that Adam destroyed.
What the hell?
Right? And you made the point, Jenny, of this scene being like really long and there being a lot of looking.
He walks into a very small room and he looks left and he looks right and he looks to the middle distance and to the far wall and he looks all around the room and takes some steps and then he slips in some blood and falls. But when he falls and sees Professor Walsh on the floor, he would have seen her in his field of vision like 7 times while he was surveying the room.
Right. Maybe that's why they made the lights not work for no reason.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Right. So Dr. Anglerfish learns that Maggie is dead. He somehow manages...
Dr. Anglerfish is really working for me.
He somehow manages to get blood literally all over his entire body. Like, he like slips in it and puts both hands in it. And I'm just like, dude, come on. Like, he's really... Like, I feel like after the scene cuts, he also, like, in shock, wiped his hands all over his face. You know? He's just like...
Oh, yeah, totally. And then do you think he said, oops?
Yes, I do. I really do.
Like maybe that's the vibe.
So we leave Oopsie Doctor slipping in blood to go back to, or not back to, but to Xander's for the first time, where we get a close-up on their sleeping arrangements, which I'm sorry that Giles is in his beanbag chair, which he refers to as a beach ball, but I'm pretty into the fact that like all the ladies are sharing the fold-out couch together. Just, I think it's fun.
Fascinating. 3 women on a fold-out couch.
And it's
sorry, I guess that didn't require restating. I just got excited.
It was funny because you like restated it because like I felt like the restating was supposed to be like sexy, but like it felt like halfway through you realized that the end of it was fold out couch. And so it just sort of like went down in its cadence by the time you got there. This is a small fold out couch though. And I'm just saying like I feel like probably you have like even if you don't want to spoon, you kind of have to spoon. So...
Wow.
I know. There's like a part of me, it's weird because like when we talk about like Buffy and Faith, we like get really into it, but I just got really self-conscious because I feel like I'm a 30, well, let's see, when does this air? The 19th. So by the time you hear this, I'm a 38-year-old woman. And, you know, these are people who are like freshmen in high school. They're I mean, I guess Anya is, as you mentioned, older, but like sometimes just now I felt creepy, like being like, yeah, 3 teenage girls in a bed. Like I'm trying to pull out the queerness and be excited about like potential queerness, but also maybe I need to cool my jets. I don't know. Talk amongst yourselves.
I mean, I just think that, you know, we're out here looking for relevant material, and all the actors on this show. What at this point we're looking at Sarah Michelle Gellar's like 22, probably 24, something like that. Allison Hannigan too. Emma Caulfield I think might be a couple years older than them.
Right. Yeah, it's not like they're kids. And also,
wait, you just called them high school girls, but they're in college?
They are. They're freshmen in college.
A lot has changed since you left town, Angel. I'm in college now. I'm a big girl.
Wow, Jenny.
You know?
I hope that somebody takes the sound clip of you saying I'm a big girl and does something fun with it. And not to like whatever. I think you make a solid counterpoint, and I'm sure it's all fine. But also just to like go a little bit deeper into it. Fan fiction, right, and stuff like this is like, especially when, I mean, I know fan fiction can go in any direction, but a lot of fan fiction is queer and is sort of like written to bring together characters who like wouldn't have otherwise gotten the chance to be together a lot of times because it's queer pairings and what have you. And so like I think there's an element at play, like an element of sexuality at play when we think of pairings that certainly doesn't erase age. It's like not suddenly okay to, you know, be like writing fan fiction about kids, but like it does take away some of the like me in it, right? It's not like I, Kristin, would like to like be the fourth spoon in this bed. Maybe I would. I don't know. But it's not about, like that's not what it's about when I say that. It's more about like, ooh, the fun I can have in thinking about pairings that wouldn't have existed or that don't exist. That could be fun.
Right. Yes.
Anyway, they have a lot of girl talk, as you do when you're sharing a bed. They're like, what about this boyfriend, Buffy? Can't you ever have somebody boring? And Anya's like, hands off my man. And then
I feel like you're leaving out the best part of that, which is like Anya saying, you should get a boring boyfriend. Like Xander.
That's
You
true.
can't have Xander specifically, but like, you know, just somebody boring like him.
Oh, it's really not like, I mean, we're going to get plenty of opportunity to talk about Anya, but Anya's approach to things is really refreshing, right? It's like Anya has chosen Xander because Xander like really fulfills all of the needs that she has, like spanking and, you know, like it's like she's not there for drama. She's not there for like a lot of complexity. She like Xander is reliable. He's loyal. And apparently he's good in bed. Sorry, everyone, but Anya's into it. And
I don't think you have to apologize for Xander being good in bed, we think.
I always feel like I take some of our listeners off guard when I suddenly put an image of Xander sleeping with somebody in their ears, you know? Like, I'm like, I apologize.
Yeah,
like, you just had
I
to
get
picture that. Maybe you didn't want to, but you're right. Anyway, I just love an Anya, like, spin on stuff. And I think it's fun that she's like, dude, what do you need out of a boyfriend? Here's my list. And Xander fills all of the points. So maybe pick a guy like him. Jenny, then we, of course, well, whatever. They find out that the little boy has been killed. They suspect it's the Polgar demon, but
they find out on the TV news when Xander comes downstairs and says, turn on the TV, which had previously been showing cartoons. Channel untouched. But as soon as they turn it back on, it's on the news special Sunnydale. A child has recently been murdered in a suspicious or potentially supernatural way. Alert channel.
Well, you know what, though? Here's a thought, Jenny, is like, you know how when, I don't know, like the president gives an address, they'll, like if it's like for a really big deal thing, like an announcement that like all people in the nation need to find out about, they'll interrupt your programming. Or like if there's like a State of the Union, right? They do that too on the, at least the
right.
Cable, or what do you call the channels that you get when you don't have cable? Those channels, ABC, NBC, Fox, etc. Maybe Sunnydale is so under siege all the time and on a hellmouth. So perhaps, we know the cops aren't super advanced in this town, but maybe the media people are, and they have that kind of broadcast system so that when young boys are speared by Frankenstein demons, they have a way to tell people, hey, there's a Frankenstein demon on the loose, or whatever.
I suppose this is a real possibility.
You know, I don't know. Just a posit.
No, and I think it would behoove them. It's almost too good of an idea for Sunnydale to actually be doing it.
Yeah, that's also a good point.
They're not the most responsible. They're not the most thorough town. As you may recall, the previous mayor was just trying to ascend to pure demon form. But
Wait,
Buffy's
who's the mayor now?
We don't know.
Do we ever? I mean, I guess whatever. Don't spoil it for me. But like,
Is it perhaps Helene Schneider at this point?
yeah, is this when her term began? Like, what's going on?
Yes, friend of the pod, Helene Schneider, mayoring about.
So before we leave this, yes, I can hear you're going to go there, Jenny. This is a really important ending of a scene for you.
Buffy has had enough. She's not going to take it anymore. She's got big plans and a strategy, and she's in commander mode, and she does her whole monologue, and then she's like, looks down at herself and realizes that she's wearing a matching set of pajamas, yummy sushi pajamas, sending up a flare for me for Sunnydale matching pajama set watch 2018. And also kind of undermining her very leadership-oriented speech that she just gave.
Yeah, I mean, it is the first time when Buffy herself makes the point that you've been trying to make all season, which is that sometimes a matching set of pajamas takes a little of the oomph out of your oomph.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I guess in the right situation, they could add much-needed oomph.
But
this is not one of those situations.
Yeah, what would be a situation where matching pajamas would add? I guess if you are trying to tell people what the meaning of Christmas is, your matching pajamas might add the oomph that you're looking for.
Meaning of Christmas, pillow fight.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Slumber party, movie marathon.
Right. Okay, great. So yeah, again.
But anyway,
moving right along to
it's time for Riley and Forrest to retire to the balls suite. Another great shot of Riley's balls poster.
I love when you like talk over me because I know that something like that you have a sentence that is critical that you get out in one piece.
You got to get it out while it's there, man, or I don't know what's going to happen.
Like you were like, no, if she talks about them being in the room, I won't get to say my line about the ball suite. The things that are like really important to us in our work here about Praying the Vampire Slayer.
Yes, truly. Truly.
Yeah,
well,
this is more of Forrest being like, where were you all night? Oh, probably having sex with your girlfriend when you could have been having sex with me.
Yeah.
And then
there's just like a lot of like, they're really, it's like, I'm sure some people are like, why do you keep talking about Forrest and Riley having sexual tension? And it's like, dude, there's no other reason that he would be so like he's so over the top.
He really is.
With it, there's so much misplaced tension. And Riley's trying to confide in Forrest about like what's going on, and Forrest is like, well, you ever think if Professor Walsh wanted to kill Buffy, maybe Buffy needed killing? She's always asking questions.
Right.
And then Riley's like, why are you so bummed out that I'm hanging out with her? Is it because she's a better soldier than you? Which, like, Buffy is not a better soldier than Forrest or anyone. She's a great warrior, but she's a terrible soldier.
Right. Yeah, she does not follow orders, which like we're here for, but definitely don't think she's going to win too many medals of honor in her soldier career. And
no, she only wins parasols.
Jenny, I wanted to just say very briefly, slight spoilers for The Magicians, I guess. So I don't know, skip a minute if you haven't watched it yet, but it's just a minor spoiler. But this actor, I was looking up his name while you were talking, but I did hear you. Leonard Roberts is his name, and
Who plays Forrest.
Who plays Forrest? Sorry, yes, the actor that plays Forrest and Leonard Roberts. You were talking about like, maybe you're wondering why, like we're always saying blah, 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 but we think there's sexual tension there. What's really fun is that Jenny and I have watched The Magicians, and this actor, Leonard Roberts, plays a gay dude within the universe of The Magicians. And I felt
I think isn't he bisexual?
Oh, I'm sorry. He is bisexual. Yes, he is. What I meant to say is we get to see him with a dude and being like super romantic and sexy with a dude.
And also being referred to as a DILF.
Yeah. Solid point.
Greatly underused acronym.
Yeah, agree.
Everybody's always talking about MILFs, but nobody's ever talking about DILFs.
I agree. And I'm glad that we got a little bit of that. And it just like felt like, especially because The Magicians like really pulls a lot of, there's like a lot of Buffy stuff that happens in that show. So it almost felt like an extension of the universe where I finally got to see Forrest being his true self.
Truly.
Anyhow, Graham walks in, and as Graham does, gets told to like go screw, and he's like looks really upset. And so Forrest actually notices, Forrest picking up on the facial expressions and moods of his fellow soldiers, of course, because he loves them. Is like, yes. I noticed that something's up. So what's up? And Graham is like, Professor Walsh is dead, which is like, what the fuck? We've known, but they haven't known, and they didn't know, and so they go down to see what the fuck is going on.
Support for today's episode comes from OneSkin. And if you have sensitive skin, you're going to want to hear about their scientifically proven topical supplements. Free from over 1,500 chemicals and preservatives that can make skin red, irritated, or itchy, their products are safe for sensitive skin. It's just one of the reasons they've earned the Skin Safe seal of approval. They've also earned the Jenny Owen Young's and Kristin Russo seal of approval, if I do say so myself, Jenny. I couldn't agree more. I've been using OneSkin for a few months, and after a few weeks, I remember it like it was yesterday. I texted Kristin, and I was like, maybe she's born with it. I looked in the mirror that morning and was like, oh, things are happening, and I am happy. I have used 1 billion skin products, and I did not think that I was going to switch off of the skin like lotion, the moisturizer that I used, and the under eye cream that I used, because I have used them for a little while and I really like them, and I've switched completely, which is a pretty big deal. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. Get started today with 15% off using code BUFFERING at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code BUFFERING. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, and if you can, please tell them that we sent you.
As a podcast network, our focus is bringing you shows you love to listen to. But we also sell merch related to those shows. And partnering with Shopify has made that both possible and simple for us to do. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor adventures, Shopify helps you sell everywhere because they've got you covered, from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. What's so fantastic about Shopify is how, no matter how big you want to grow, they provide everything you need to get control of your business so you can take it to the next level. Businesses that grow, grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm. That's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/realm.
Hello, I'm Simon Jack.
And I'm Zing Sing.
And together we host Good Bad Billionaire, the podcast exploring the minds, the motives, and the money of some of the world's richest individuals.
Every episode, we pick a billionaire and we find out how they made their money.
And then we judge them. Are they good, bad, or just another billionaire?
Good Bad Billionaire from the BBC World Service.
Listen now wherever you get your BBC podcasts.
Upon seeing Professor Walsh's body for 1 second, Forrest is immediately like, oh, that wound? The only thing that could have done that is a wooden stake wielded by your girlfriend.
Which is not factual information at all.
No. And then Riley and Forrest start to tussle, and Engelman breaks it up. And is like, show some respect. And then we see Riley scratching his hand.
Yes.
Indicating an increase in his agitation.
Yeah, and Jenny, this actually, this whole Riley arc of his withdrawal symptoms, I'm not somebody who has seen the X-Files yet. I know, gasp. I need to get on it. But Every time, Jenny, I have seen you sing the song Clean Break, which has been a lot of times, you often tell this, you use this metaphor of an X-Files episode where there's, I think, cockroaches underneath people's skin.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I haven't seen the episode, but it's so, you tell it very well. It's like really inside of my brain visually. And so I was thinking about that as Riley was describing later to Buffy, like what he's feeling when he's like itching his skin.
Well.
It's so rare for me to get to talk about an X-Files reference since I don't have any, so I just was really excited.
Congratulations. Also, a testament to me, such a vivid songwriter and compelling stage presence. I'm kidding.
I'm like, that's my shtick. I tell people all the time that I'm a natural talent.
Yes. We know you're a natural talent.
Number one quality of natural talent. They tell you all the time they're a natural talent.
It's just natural for you to tell people.
So anyway, this scene, I think the important things in this scene are Forrest is bullshit, which you said. Like, I'm trying to blame Buffy. So it's so ridiculous that, like, I feel like Riley doesn't even give it a beat. Like, he's just like, this is ridiculous. You're ridiculous. But the other big thing, I think, is that Riley directly disobeys orders. And I don't know that we've ever seen that really happen before. This is a pretty major thing for him. Buffy does it all the time. Riley does not.
It's hot.
Yeah.
Disobey those orders.
Yeah. Maybe he needs to take a lesson from the Anya spankings. Bye.
Okay. Whoa.
Gotta
Whoa. So anyway.
To the cemetery in full combat gear in broad daylight.
And Forrest is really ready to take out his anger and sorrow on any demon that he sees, which he declares will die.
Yeah, it's really, also, this scene is whatever. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but like the fact that they walk into this crypt and they're like, somebody's obviously been living here. Is it a homeless man when the only thing out of place is a television set?
What's that TV plugged into?
Good question. Maybe it's a really fancy mausoleum that has power outlets inside of it.
I don't know. Also, how did Spike get positioned so perfectly underneath that corpse and the like silk sheet that it's laid out on?
Yeah.
Don't you think like even if he was scooching down underneath it that he would have like disrupted the bone structure?
Well, but the bone structure, did you notice when he sat up, like later when there's the reveal that he was under there the whole time? When he sits up, the bones of the skeleton are in these like little see-through glittery bags. Did you notice that?
Oh my God, what? No, what?
Yeah, I'm describing the fabric very poorly. We need Kate. Kate, are you here? What's that fabric called? But it's like a gauzy, like kind of a fabric, and it's almost like the skeleton is. I'm really glad we're talking about this. I didn't think I was going to be talking about the skeleton's pants, but it's like...
Sure.
It's kind of like the skeleton is wearing little gauzy pants. And I imagine
yes.
that the reason they did that was for this exact reason, that like Spike couldn't really sit up without knocking the bones every which way unless there was some semblance of keeping it together. But I don't understand. There's a lot of questions here, I guess, which is, do they put gauzy things around? No, right? Because wait, so people aren't buried.
No, maybe it's just like a set dressing thing.
People aren't buried naked; they're buried in clothes. So if this crypt, right? Like,
yeah,
this skeleton would ostensibly have had clothing on. Whatever.
It's just been there for so long that the clothes have deteriorated. Except for the gauze pants.
Anyway, I think that probably, like, it seems like this is a place that Spike is used to hiding. It doesn't seem like this was like the number one first time that he's ever hid.
Oh, so maybe those are Spike's gauzy pants.
Oh my God, please let it be that like Spike went to the magic shop and then to the fabric store and was like, I need like some gauzy material to make a pair of pants for the skeleton in my crib. To make a better hiding place. Anyway,
yes.
You know,
anyway, we're taking way too long to get to the most beautiful scene in the episode, which is Buffy Summers standing on a sunny hillside. Oh, the sun is so bright and she's looking so far off into the distance that she must shade her eyes with her hand for a very long time and look onward seriously, very seriously. This is such a serious matter. A child has died. Rest in peace, tiny child. So sorry to see you go so soon. We hardly knew ye. But anyway, back to Buffy staring off into the distance, shading her eyes with her hand.
It's pretty dramatic. And also it's a very...
This is a pose she learned from Angel.
Oh, wow. From our friend...
Detective Angel. I mean, he wouldn't be shading his eyes against the sunlight, but he might be shading them against streetlights.
You know what's crazy about Angel is he would shield his eyes from the sunlight even if it weren't there. Because that's how dramatic he is.
Yes. And speaking of dramatic, Butterscotch Angel is like, Maggie's dead. Happy now?
Yeah, God. I mean...
And then Buffy's like, how dare you? I'm surrounded by death. Look at all this death. How could you possibly think death makes me happy? Just really intense. This is really, I mean, she's right.
Yeah, she's right. And like Riley gets a little bit of a pass.
It's very intense.
Yeah, he gets a little bit of a pass in this episode since we know that he's like withdrawing from drugs and stuff. And like, there's like more at work here than just, so like normally I'd be like, fuck you, Riley. But this time I'm like, he's going through like a complete emotional crisis and also withdrawal. So I'll give him some room to do those things. There's a really weird, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but want to just say I noticed that Buffy goes away. She's like, I'm going to fight the demon. I'm going to find this fucking demon. See ya. And then Riley looks over his shoulder back at the camera, and I don't understand what we're seeing, but probably those of you who work in film and TV could tell me. The shot is weird. It has like blackened corners, almost like there's a lens on it or there's not a lens on it, or I have no idea, but it looks like you're seeing him through something, which is not intentional because it wouldn't make any sense. It's not like someone else is seeing him through a telescope or something.
Right. Any DPs out there got the hot goss on what's going on here?
Yeah, what did the editor mess up here? What happened here? I want to know. Oh, but Jenny, it's taken us a while to get to this
time. It's finally time.
Oh my God. I got your message, says Tara. I had class. I was just about to call you. Please don't ever think that I am not obsessed with you, because I am. Are you obsessed with me too? Yes, I am. Let's be obsessed with each other together.
Listen, let me tell you something. I've been thinking about that last spell we did all day.
Jenny, for the delight of our listeners, I'm going to just play that entire sound clip, starting with...
Please.
Yes, let's just go right into it.
I had so much fun the other night. Those spells. Yeah, that was nice. I hope you don't think that I just come over for the spells and everything. I mean, I really like just talking and hanging out with you and stuff. I know that.
But you want to do a spell?
Yeah, but only because it's really important. There's this... No, you don't have to explain. I don't mind, really. I've been thinking about that last spell we did all day.
Oh, Willow and Tara doing your witchy stuff, which also means you're having sex with each other.
Okay, all right.
I'm sorry, but no, I really want to talk about the line that sound clip began with, which is, I hope you don't think I just come over for the spells, which is they're playing with witchcraft, the writers or whatever, to allow us to hear about these two women doing some stuff together without talking about it, and I don't even think it's I'm not saying that as, well, they're not talking about the sex because they don't want to. I think they're having a damn good time with like the analogy of, witchy spells are two queer ladies doing it. I'm here for it. I like it.
All right. I mean, I'm obviously here for it.
So then Tara is a little hesitant when Willow suggests that they're going to conjure the goddess Thespia. So we'll come back to see how Tara handles her hesitancy. But first, we should go to Willie's place, the new and improved Willie's place.
Yes, important piece of world building. Demons love chicken fingers in the Buffyverse.
I mean,
and why wouldn't they? Chicken fingers are delicious, or vegan chicken fingers if you prefer.
Yeah, I'm sure that Willie has both options because he's classed up the joint, and
Yep.
He tells
Willie's place.
Yeah, he tells Buffy like, "Yo, I don't two-time anymore. I don't do this." We get a lot of the Italian stereotype in this episode with Willie's place and the later spike and the music that's playing. We'll get there, but like Willie's essentially like, "I don't fuck around anymore," which basically just means Buffy, punch me in the nose and then I'll tell you what you need to
I'll tell you everything.
learn.
Yeah.
Riley walks in and is like, the fuck? This is like a little upsetting. I mean, of course it's upsetting. It's meant to be upsetting. But like I felt upset and like threatened with Riley in this scene for a couple of reasons. One, he's so sweaty. And anyone that sweaty seems like they might pose a risk of some kind. Why are you that sweaty? Two, he's really violent with Buffy, which is so far out of his character that like we know and we trust that it's really jarring, and he's really out of it, and so it's just like a bad combination of things. He grabs Buffy. He's shaking, his hands are shaking, which she says, and then he does something that we hate in the Buffy universe. He pulls out a gun.
Yep, and he points it at a tiny frail lady in a bucket hat who I'm going to say is a non-vampiric demon of some kind.
That's the question I was going to ask.
But
is it a human
woman?
Yeah.
Right.
And
I think based on her hat, I'm going to say demon.
Wow.
Don't you think?
Fucking
there's
rude.
Just like something. No, there's just like something like her whole getup. She just looks so small and frail that it looks like she's trying to look small and frail.
I guess that's true. She's like a demon where she looks harmless, and that's like her advantage is she looks like the helpless little lady, and then her like eyes pop out of her head and her jaw opens up and swallows it, and
Yeah, exactly. Or I was thinking like, what if she was attached, since you said anglerfish earlier, what if there was a demon that had like basically a small frail human woman as its anglerfish like
dangler
lure?
Yeah,
it's angler dangler.
Yes, angler dangler.
And then somewhere behind her there's just like a massive landfish demon trying to gobble up some humans.
Oh,
just a
God.
thought.
Wow. This is like our holiday episode, and I feel like we're really giving you a lot to take home for the holidays.
Yes, so festive.
So we go
Hey, I mean, bioluminescence is not so far removed from like Christmas lights.
That's true. Oh my God. What a cool way to decorate your Christmas tree. A bunch of little like not real anglerfish. Don't worry, PETA. No anglerfish were harmed in the making of this podcast.
No, heavens no.
Anyway, let's get to Xander's house, which is divided by tapestries into rooms. Nurse Buffy is here with Riley wrapping his hand.
Buffy.
Oh, you want to stop me there for a second?
Nurse Buffy.
Nurse Buffy.
No, I just wanted to shout Nurse Buffy a couple times. I'm good now.
She's using now, Jenny. I know you watch The Size of Mark Lucas's Palms a lot, and not only would he dwarf a full-size bandana with his palm, but this tiny ass bandana, I'm gonna say, I think would look even tinier next to his giant palm than it does in this scene, right?
Dude,
it's so tiny.
That bandana, it's just like a Band-Aid or something.
It's like if a real bandana sneezed, it would be what came out.
Wow. I like that a lot. Thank you.
So this scene, we've talked about this a little bit already, but like the lines that or the words that Riley is saying in the scene are so sad. Like, I thought I knew, but I don't know which team I'm on, who the bad guys are. Maybe I'm the bad guy, which is pretty terrifying. No. I know, it's really sad. And Buffy has gone through sort of like not this specific journey, but like I remember this kind of like made me think of when Giles and Buffy were in the cemetery. I believe it was after Jenny Calendar got killed. And right. And they're talking about the fact that like bad and good, there's no dividing line. It's really, there's a gray area, and it's really hard to place things on one side or the other. And Riley has lived a simple life, in quotes, up until this point because he has
A very black and white, like
Exactly.
everything is laid out for you. You don't have to ask questions.
And now he's so
life.
right. And now he's so turned around that he doesn't know what's good and what's bad. And because of that, he doesn't know if he's good or bad, which is really powerful. And he's in this like tiny fetal position, which, you know, I mean, it's as small as Mark Blucas can get himself to look. I think he does a pretty good job. And then we go to the other side of the tapestry where Xander is wearing something lovely. Jenny.
What is he wearing?
He's wearing a shirt that says, I love dirt.
Like 10 times in a row. Why?
Why? What is this shirt? Like, we lived in the 90s and I don't remember it. I want to know what is going on.
What could it mean? It's so mysterious.
Anyway, Xander is called to duty, of course. They really go hard on this, like, Xander used to be a soldier. So, like, anything soldier related, we'll call Xander in for. Anya is not super thrilled about it because she wants a boring boyfriend. She doesn't want a boyfriend who's going to have to risk life and limb.
Yeah, it's interesting how, you know, it seems like she's already aware of the sort of Scooby contract. But suddenly in this, I wonder what it is about this situation that's got her all riled up.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
I think she's
extra defensive of Xander.
I think she's getting more attached to Xander. You know, like, I think that's what's happening. Like, right. I think she's just falling harder for him and getting more attached to him, and the risk of losing him is seeming more and more dire to her. That's my analysis. Speaking of things being dire, we go back to our witches in the next scene.
Oh my God.
And essentially, here's what I took away from this spell. We both blow at the same time and it makes a mist. So I'm just going to say we both blow stuff at the same time and then it makes a mist come. Okay. Thank you for going down that journey.
I wonder what you could mean by that. I wonder what that could possibly be.
So, a thing that I do want to talk, well, there's two things that I want to talk about in this scene. One is like Tara and what is going on with Tara. But the other thing is really small. But part of the spell that they incant, is that what you would say?
Ooh, yes, I love that.
Thank you. Is we walk in shadows. Like that's part of how they are calling the goddess Thespia, which I don't know if it was intentional or not, but queer literature, lesbian literature, like a lot of it was in the like 60s and 70s with like pulp novels. For example, a really famous lesbian pulp series is called Bebo Brinker. And if you give me just a half second to go down this alleyway. So Bebo Brinker is a series that was written by a woman whose pen name was Anne Bannon. And Anne Bannon was married to this dude, and she was coming into the city to do research in hard quotes for her book that was about like women falling in love with women, whatever. She wound up leaving her husband and was totally queer. And she wrote these books and they were published, and the covers especially were designed to attract men to buy them, right? Like women in the shadows. Right. What do they do to each other? And that was my like first point, is that like that women in the shadows was like a very, very major phrase used at that time, especially in like talking about lesbians. Or women who liked other women. But to just round the Anne Bannon, Bebo Brinker story out, what was really fun about this series is that it was marketed to, like, they would put it at like bus depots. They were pulp novels, so they were really cheap, and they would put them, at bus depots so that dudes would buy them before they like got on the bus. But what happened was that so many queer women were seeking out these books because they talked about Manhattan and the places that queer women were going in Manhattan to find each other, to meet each other. And so they were used as like a guidebook by women who didn't have resources to find other women who liked women, which was just really fucking cool. I did a whole paper on Bebo Brinker, so thank you for indulging me and letting me talk about women in the shadows.
Did in any of the Bebo Brinker books, did two women take 4 various gemstones, place them in a square, get a fistful of mystic sand, and then encant together, and then blow the sand all over the square?
No, I missed that part if it happened, but I would have been really there for it.
Oh.
The question I have, and you don't have to answer this because there's probably an answer that I just don't remember, is why doesn't Tara let this spell happen?
Why does Tara sabotage? Why does Tara tuck her fistful of powder under her doily bedspread?
Yes, that's
wow. When she finally meets Buffy, they're going to have so much to talk about.
She's like, oh my God, I had those pillows and I had the bedspread. Did you? And Buffy's like, no, I just got the pillows. But yeah, I don't, as a viewer, know why Tara has done this. And maybe...
How interesting. I wonder if we'll ever find out.
Okay, great. So that lets me know that we will, and I just don't remember. Great. But yeah, Tara blows this spell up, and the one thing I do want to say before we go to the next scene is that Tara, like, she takes her fistful of witchy dust and she puts it under her doily bedspread. But then when she takes her hand back out, she, like, must worry that Willow will open her eyes. And so she, like, pretends to throw the dust. And it's really funny. Like, if you didn't see it, go back and watch it because it's just so Tara. Like, the way that she fucking does it is, like, the most Tara thing that's ever happened.
It's very good.
Buffy's going undercover, which means another tiny pair of glasses.
Oh my God. Don't you think it's interesting that Buffy's scientist outfit, or like government scientist costume, is just a Buffy outfit with a lab coat and some glasses? It's kind of like every like 90s teen rom-com where they're like, look at that shit bomb in the paint splattered overalls with the ponytail and glasses. And then she takes off her glasses and shakes her hair out and they're like, whoa, prom queen. Except this is kind of in reverse.
Right. She dons a tiny pair of glasses and a white coat and suddenly is a doctor.
God, remember how tiny glasses used to be?
Oh my God, Jenny. Okay, you and I just went to London, which meant I had to dust off my passport because I don't travel a lot. And I opened my passport, which was taken only in the year 2000 wait. It was 8 years into it, and we're 2010. It
was 2010.
2010. That is not that long ago. The glasses on my head looked like I stole them from a baby. Looked like I took them from a baby off of the
like
baby's
one of
head.
those like pair of baby glasses that are like elastic banded on. They kind of look like swimming goggles.
Yes. They are so tiny. And that was only 2010. So like, whew, we really went through a tiny glasses phase. Anyway, the retinal scan, which is a retinal scan, not what Xander thinks it is complete. Buffy gets in the elevator. And here's a question. No one monitors who the fuck goes in and out of the initiative. Like all of that tinfoil technology, and they don't fucking monitor who comes in and out? That's weird.
Yeah, it does kind of raise some questions. There do seem to be some security loopholes, but also the leader of the pack has just been murdered.
Right.
And
so
perhaps things are in disarray.
That's true. Xander, coming in hot, gets to the initiative and is so bowled over by the beauty and the splendor that is...
and the majesty.
The bit that he says, like, now I get it. Can I have sex with Riley too? And,
ooh.
I'm just gonna say, like, Jenny, I didn't get excited about Xander and a Speedo. I didn't get super excited about Riley and his stuff, but I have to say that I am really here for the pairing.
Your interest is piqued?
It is piqued. I will take this pairing and bring it home with me. I would like to have this pairing. So thank you for it.
Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, the pairings or desired pairings that we've seen or been made aware of. Okay, Xander and Buffy, Xander and Cordelia, Xander and Willow, Xander and Anya. I feel like Xander and Riley makes more sense than all of them.
Don't forget about Xander and Angel, for God's sake.
Oh my gosh, Xander and Angel, Xander and Ampada,
Oh,
Xander
yes.
and Natalie French, the sexy substitute teacher / praying mantis.
That's high on my list, actually.
That would be number 2 right after Xander and Riley.
So, okay, so that's interesting. I was going to ask you from between Xander and Riley and Xander and Angel, like where your ranking was. And I agree that Xander and Riley outrank Xander and Angel for me. And I also agree that Xander and Natalie French outrank Xander and Angel. I think Xander and Angel would come 4th after.
What would be 3rd?
I think I like Xander and Anya.
Oh, you know what I forgot? Xander and Faith.
Oh, yeah, they don't rank high on my list at all.
No, they're all the way at the bottom.
Yeah.
Xander and Anya is pretty great.
Anyway,
but I love this new couple that we just came up with.
I also, I hope that you all... Xylee! Yes! Oh my God.
Rander.
Wow. Nope. No. Xylee. Definitely Xylee.
Oh my gosh. Rinder. Almost Grinder, but Rinder.
Wow. Okay. I would like to let you all in on giving us feedback of whether or not you appreciate when we talk for an hour and a fucking half about your least favorite episodes of this show or not. You know, let us
thumbs
know.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
Right. We can amend things if you'd like us to, but boy, we are having a time with this episode. So anyway, they make it through the first phase of the initiative without getting caught. Xander wants to make out with Buffy as an undercover tactic. She's like, dude, that is not what happens in the initiative. And then what?
Great point, Buffy.
Sweaty Riley is like scaring the shit out of Willow through tapestry walls because he has awoken.
Oh, and then he throws her on the ground. Oof, Riley is really fucked up right now.
Yeah, they really take it, and I think it's important that they took it as far as they did to like really let us know how fucked up Riley is. You know, with the medication and all this stuff. But I don't like the fact that we see Willow tossed at all. And I'm sure knowing Riley, like this seems like a thing that he would. We probably won't ever get to see this scene, but I feel like he and Willow will like sit down and really unpack this with each other. You know, how it made each of them feel, how they can work to heal from wounds and things like that. So
yes.
I'm sure that will happen.
Especially considering over the course of their relationship, Riley has like gone way out of his way to support Willow and take care of Willow when nobody else was doing it even.
I agree. It's the one time in my life that I wish I had a "Don't Go Away, Riley" jingle. Damn. So a couple of things we learn, of course, that the meds are happening through the food. We've been talking about it all episode, but this is where we learn it. And then we go, before we come back to the initiative again, we go briefly to Willie's place where we learn a couple of things. One is that he keeps a very beautifully decanted bottle of blood for the vampires, which is like pretty awesome.
I missed that. I gotta go back.
Oh, really? Yeah, he pours a glass of blood for Spike, and it's like in this beautiful decanter. And I was like, yes, that's how I prefer all my blood to be served. The Willie's place is playing this like what I feel is like fairly Italian sound, like it's like an Italian song, and then Spike gets punched in the nose, and that's all we learn thus far. But if it's okay with you, Jenny, I would love to take this scene to its fruition just to like talk about it.
By all means.
Cool. So we learn in the scene at Willie's that follows this that Spike is no longer welcome at the demon bar, and that's because he now kills and or like beats up demons, and that there's a code of conduct for demons that means that they don't do this to other demons. Now, we've seen demons who fuck around with this, especially in Angel, where like the full-blooded demons were massacring the half-blooded demons and things like that. But it is really interesting and cool that we're learning that like there's sort of an unwritten code that demons don't fuck around with other demons, point A. And point B, I think it's also really important that like the big arc of this episode is Riley and what he's going through and Adam and whatever. But the little thread through this that Spike has is really important because we've seen that Spike is really afraid, like that he's really sort of reckoning with the fact that he's being hunted, that he's been chipped, and that he's really fucked up. And then he goes, as the last part of his little arc in this episode, to the bar to be with the people he thinks he can be with, and they don't accept him either, and he's not welcome there. So big plot points for Spike.
Wow, where does he belong?
Where
He's not a
does he-
monster. He's not a man.
It's just like that song Britney Spears wrote.
Oh my God. I'm not a man.
Not quite a vampire.
Wow. Yes. Well. Great.
Anyway,
back at the initiative. Engelman is just giving up all the info.
Yeah, in like 2 seconds flat. He doesn't even, he's just like, here's everything.
Yeah. And who cares? Like, he's just trying to get to the good part, which is Adam coming out of nowhere, inserting floppy disk after floppy disk into his chest slot.
No, listen, hold on. Okay, hold on, because I can't. Right. First of all, before we get to Adam, I don't need to talk about a lot because I know we've been talking forever, but like, I do want to talk about the fact that Dr. Anglerfish tells Riley to take Buffy to the stockade, which I just
is this the stockade the thing where traditionally your hands and your head go in?
Yes, but like,
what the hell?
But like, maybe they're like, maybe in the military the stockade means like something else and not that thing. But I just like,
I prefer to think of the commandos just like swinging by and like throwing rotten tomatoes and stuff at Buffy while she's head in hands.
Anyway, but then yes, like you said, Adam reveals himself by killing a soldier and dropping him off, and then him being like, me, I am 314. Then he delivers this whole monologue. I was thinking about the world, why I feel, what I am. And we're like, oh my God. And then Jenny.
Yes.
You already said how he puts the floppy disk in his motherfucking metal plate chest. But what I didn't realize upon my first view is that not only does he take a floppy disk and insert it into his body, but he pulls it out of the cargo pocket of his pants. He has
exactly. He has cargo pockets.
He has cargo pockets that he has stored multiple floppy disks in, with which he would like to learn information by inserting them into his chest cavity. If this is not the most 90s thing that has ever existed, I cannot. I could almost explode. So he learns from the first floppy disk, and I say the first because he inserts a second one without ejecting the first, to which we all say, what the fuck? We know how floppy disks work. Maybe those of you who are your younger listeners think that back in the age of floppy disks, you could simply insert multiple at one time. You could not. You could only insert one at a time.
Single disk capacity.
Yes. That the first disk lets Adam know that he is a kinematically redundant biochemical demonoid.
I can't believe you wrote this down.
I had
I just tuned out. I blacked out when he said that.
I just wanted to know what the words were, and I don't even know that I got them correct. But kinematically redundant, like, what does that mean? Why is he redundant? Redundant sounds like a bad thing. So what does that mean? And
could someone tell us?
Could someone tell us? And demonoid, is there a reason for? Anyway, you're right. I'm thinking too much into it, but I just noted it and wanted to talk about it.
Yes.
One other thing that I want to talk about, because you know how I like to watch the manicures on this show, is I think that fucking Adam needs to go to the fucking salon to get somebody to fix his damn nails up, because they look like shit.
His nails are a terror.
He's
also, when you're going to be handling tiny floppy disks and inserting that they're full of delicate information that you need, you don't want to have big black horned claws. Like they just look very unmanageable.
It is true,
dangerous.
Though I will say that I love when I interact with people with really long nails and they like use their phone or like a cash register. Anything with buttons that needs to be like where you need to like manipulate your finger around the nail to make it happen is very satisfying to me. It's like the clicking, the like slight click. I don't know. Sorry, I really went off there, but I don't like Adam's nails. I do like when people have long nails and they use small things. Sometimes I think it's very satisfying.
Cool. We also find out during Adam's exposition speech that Maggie considered Adam and Riley to be her favorite children. Let's just remember that Adam was never conscious or animated during the whole time that Maggie was alive. And the first thing that he did was kill her.
Yeah. But she didn't have time to revise her diary, that's the thing. Is that
right. But like how was she even like this one's my favorite?
Yeah, I think because she made him. Like I think
yeah, I guess that's very human, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, and the thing that I took away from that, Jenny, was that Maggie kept a diary, which I'm pretty into. That she was like, I also like sometimes when I picture Maggie writing in her diary, like sometimes she's writing in it, but then other times I picture her typing it into that machine that then speaks it back to her, So it's like her feelings, but they're said by the machine. So it's like, my favorite children are Adam and Riley.
Oh my God.
So, things we already talked about that happened in this scene, I think, is basically Riley saying, I cannot be programmed, I'm a man, which is what he's grappling with the whole episode. Xander gets like a throw-in at Adam, which I thought was really cool and nice that Xander went for it. Dr. Anglerfish, rest in peace. He gets
harpooned.
He gets harpooned, and Riley gets sort of like partially harpooned.
Harsh-pooned, if you will.
Wow.
Please don't, actually.
Wow.
I'm sorry I said that.
Adam skulks out through the vent and...
Skulks!
And the army shoots through the doorway to find out what the fuck is going on. And this is like a standoff between, the initiative and Buffy, where she's like, he needs a hospital, and Forrest in particular is like, we've got this. This is what we do. We take care of our own here.
Right.
And I kind of like the way they played this, because Buffy's like, no, fuck you, like in her initial response. And Xander is like, listen, let them have this. Like they have a thing happening here that like sort of goes beyond just them being the initiative. Like there is a brotherly bond. There is like a bond that they have from working together, and they need to be able to like kind of see this through. I'm a little bit here for that.
Sure. But Buffy is so worried about Riley, and she's like, he has nothing to hold on to. And I'm like, except a tiny triangular scarf, ma'am.
Yeah, he does. My notes from the last scene of Riley in the hospital bed are, oops, because hello, Riley's pecs. They were like, the character of Angel always accidentally unbuttoned his shirt, but Riley always buttons his shirt. How are we going to get him naked? Harpoon him!
Oh my God.
And then tiny bandana, because he is holding on to it.
Well, what an episode.
Hey, listen, you know what? Everybody was thrilled with the fact that they didn't like the Iron Team, but they loved our podcast episode. So maybe we're just helping it out. We're helping these episodes
hopefully.
out. I hope.
Let it be so.
Jenny, we have one thing left to do.
One remaining piece of business, and then we'll be done with this episode forever. It's time for... Sexual Attention Award. Well, for this episode's Sexual Tension Award nominees, we have, just like 4 really, really great hot options. Something for everyone, I think. So if you are inclined towards women, but 3 of them, we've got Buffy, Anya, and Willow on the pull-out couch in the basement. Hell yeah. If you like gentlemen, hunky gentlemen, butterscotchian gentlemen who look great in a Speedo, we've got Xander and Riley. You didn't sound very enthused, Kristin.
No, I think I was so enthused, and I was like, should I tell them all later that I'm voting for Xander and Riley? Or will they be mad at me because, like, there's so many other great pairings?
Kristin, I don't know. You haven't heard all the pairings yet. There might be something more appealing to you even than Xander and Riley.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Okay. For our third set of nominees, fan favorites and like people who are actually probably having sex, Tara and Willow.
Did that sound like an audience cheering?
Yeah, that sounded great. Or like a weird ocean. And then our fourth pairing, for whom I personally will be voting, not to sway anyone.
Wow.
That I think is, it's edgy, it's hot, it's different, it's like nothing we've seen before. It's Adam and floppy disks. You're welcome. Oh, hell hell yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, he's clearly, they have something really special. Kristin, accept it.
They do have something really special, but my vote, despite all of the others, contenders here, my vote stays with Xander and Riley. I'm really here for it. So you take that and unpack it on your own time. But
I love it. That's what's beautiful about democracy. Your vote is your own. Yes. And it's just important for you to make your voice heard.
Yeah, so you can head on over to our Twitter at BufferingCast and cast your vote for who turns you on the most. Is that
or
what
who
it
you
is?
ship the most?
Yeah,
who do you ship the most?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Follow your heart.
It's actually kind of become unclear. What is the point of the sexual tension? Amusing ourselves, I think, is the number one point.
Oh, well, Jenny.
Somehow, that incredibly long us talking to each other about this episode is now complete.
I think we did a really good job. I hope we did. I hope we brought some new ideas and fun to an episode that you may or may not dislike. And
hope we gave you all something to think about.
Yes. So why don't we tell you who we are, just in case you forgot?
Yes. Well, since the beginning of this episode, you've got like a long gray beard and a field mouse lives in it, and you can barely remember your own name, let alone ours. Well, I am Jenny Owen Youngs, and when I'm not watching Buffy and making this podcast, I am usually writing and recording songs. You can learn more about me and hear some of those songs at jennyowenyoungs.com/buffering. And you can give me a shout on Twitter at Jenny Owen Youngs.
Yes, and I am Kristin Russo. You can find more about me and the work that I do with LGBTQIA communities, as well as for parents, family members, and educators of LGBTQIA young people over at KristinNoeline.com. That's KristinNoeline. You can use that spelling to also find me on Twitter and on Instagram, where I talk about all sorts of things and also post pictures of cats and kittens and Christmas trees and other things. I was trying to think of what I've posted recently on my Instagram account.
A lot of hot cat content.
A lot of cat content, yeah. And of course, if you want to go right to those resources that I talked about, you can go on over to mykidisgay.com or everyoneisgay.com and find some stuff.
Buffering the Vampire Slayer is on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at BufferingCast. And you could always email us at bufferingthevampireslayer@gmail.com.
Yes, and speaking of emailing us, Jenny, if you are a patron at the $10 or higher level, you get mailbag episodes as a bonus. And this is our last episode, December 19th, until we come back in the new year on January 9th. So that's a little bit of a gap, but if you are a patron of ours, you will be getting a mailbag episode. So you'll get some more of us in your little earballs. You can become a patron of ours by going to bufferingthevampireslayer.com and clicking on Patreon. There's a ton of fun stuff over there, and it also supports us and the work that we do. Other ways that you can support us, of course, you can go on over to iTunes and rate and review us. You can also rate and review Angel on Top, our sister podcast that we go in tandem with. They are in season 1 of Angel right now. And you can also go on over to our merch store. It is December 19th, so if you've waited this long, you, I think, might be able to do some express shipping in the U.S. for some gifts. But, maybe you have waited this long because you're not going to see people that you need to give gifts to until the end of the year. Or maybe even January. But we have tons
Or maybe the most important recipient on your gifting list is you.
Ooh.
And it's less time sensitive.
Ooh, yeah. Maybe you're going to get some sweet cash money for the holidays and you can spend it in our store. But we have tons of really fun Smash the Demon Lizard patriarchy and support your local alewife and girl gang and socks. We have socks. We have
hot socks.
Hot socks. We have some fun stuff. So you can go on over there.
Oh, we've got the new wow, 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 wow hat.
The wow, wow, wow beanie from Jenny's mouth to your head.
Interesting.
You can find our store at bufferingthevampireslayer.com as well. You just click on shop. And I think that's most of what I've got. How about you, Jenny?
I think that's just about everything. Hope you all have wonderful holidays.
Yes, same. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
And till next year.
Woo!
Hell yeah.
Last howl of the year.
There isn't any easy way out of this, you know, and I know something got a hold of you, but what is it you don't know? You said so. I'm feeling your grip, starting to slip. How can I help you hold on to this? You were the one thing that I knew I could count on, but you're all shook up. You know I was ready for someone holding steady, but you're all shook up, all shook up. I don't really know how to reach you now. It's scary. What could be? I don't really know how to calm you down. Heart racing, hands shaking. I'm feeling your grip, starting to slip. I just wanna help you hold on to this. You were the one thing that I knew I could count on, but you're all shook up, all shook up. You know I was ready for someone holding steady, but you're all shook up, all shook up. I know you don't know who you are anymore. I know you don't know, but I won't let you go. You were the one thing that I knew I could count on, but you're all shook up, all shook up. Come home, yeah, I'm ready to just hold you steady, 'cause you're all shook up, all shook up.
Dana Schwartz, and this is Rise or Die, the official companion podcast for Peacock's original series, Those About to Die. On this podcast, I go behind the scenes with the show's cast and creators to learn how they brought their brutal vision of Rome to life.
Gosh, people will freak out.
Rise or Die launches on July 18th. Watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.